I know you had some nice seats tonight, right there behind the Brooklyn Nets bench. I first want the note on that experience, and you catch something different there.
Man, it's so funny. Ironically, maybe the one thing we have the least insight into as media members is what it's like on an NBA bench and in an NBA huddle. We're so far, we get to go behind closed doors, like practices and stuff, right after. But to really hear these guys and not just read the body language, it was really something, man. They're very, very active. There's a lot of chatter. Those guys talk a lot of smack on the floor, and it kind of oscillates sometimes back and forth. At least tonight it did, between good spirited, right? Some smiles and laughters poking through. And then also sometimes it just gets really, really tense. And it was just fascinating to watch. The replay process is so immediate, you guys. Like, they just have no time to make these choices. And I think it was Connor, by the way, who you know from the Denver Nuggets organization, who was glued to the replay video for Jordi Fernandez tonight. Jordi's a really good coach, really calm. It was fascinating watching him kind of go back and forth between keeping control of the action on the court and then telling his assistant coaches to make certain notes of certain things, what guys miss, when to come back and visit it. Mike was steely intense tonight, you guys, as intense as I've ever really seen him, to be honest. He wanted that one bad. When they missed him, when he was open, he let his teammates know for sure. And it was cool to see. I heard Jamal Murray kind of give it to some guys. Bruce Brown is such a pest, you guys. He cannot help himself. He does it constantly, and he does it with a smile on his face. So it was a lot of fun to get a different angle, get a different perspective on the game.
He's never started any trash.
He has never.
For the record.
Never started.
Yeah, he's never started it. Yeah.
Love it, man. All right, take us to the locker room. Curious for this one.
Yeah, so we just came back from pressers with David Adelman and Jamal Murray, where the Nuggets agreed that was a nice homecoming for Mike, and they are very glad that they won. As Bruce Brown told me later in the locker room, we could not lose to him twice. David Adelman had this to say about Jamal Murray, who really redeemed himself in the clutch tonight. Bit of a clutch warrior, don't know if you've noticed. He says, quote, "He just has it in him, not afraid of it. It's incredible to have a guy like that at the end of games as a coach." Went on to say that it's an all-star season for Jamal. He was asked about the challenges of guarding Michael Porter Jr. He said, quote, "He's just so damn tall," before saying, ultimately, yeah, it was a good homecoming for Mike. I'm just glad that we got the win. He went out of his way to shout out Hunter Tyson, who he said was incredible tonight with his hustle and floor game. And he says sometimes that's really all it takes for guys to be impactful. That second unit was really hustling, making a difference. He wanted to make sure that Hunter Tyson's name was in there and give him some credit. When asked kind of in greater terms about this stretch without Jokic for the shorthanded Nuggets, David Adelman said, "These guys believe when they show up that they're going to win, and it's a lot of fun to watch." He also wanted to shout out 3 factors in this last month, guys. He said we've had really low turnovers. We're really just taking care of the ball. He noted they've had a lot of clutch wins in January, and he really thinks they've been sitting down and guarding more lately. So those are 3 big factors he thinks in the success this month. We heard from Jamal Murray. I asked him how badly he wanted to beat Mike. He said, "I told you last time, man, we got to get him some buckets and get him out of here." I asked him how Mike has improved since he was a Nugget, if he's improved. And he says, he reads traps and blitzes better. He reads a lot of things better. And he said, for him going against Mike, it was about knowing Mike's tendencies and knowing what Mike wants to do. And he says, if you don't know those things and you play against Mike, he is going to light you up. He marveled at the box score. 28 shots is just ridiculous, he said, with a huge smile on his face. Then some more serious stuff.
Come on.
Then some more serious stuff from Jamal. I asked him, I said a lot of your teammates and people in the organization have told us you're in the best shape of your career. Do you feel like that's the case? And how does that impact your season? And this is a long answer, guys, so bear with me. He said, my body's been great. These guys, meaning the staff, taking care of me. There's been some nicks and knacks along the way, but I'm holding up. I put a lot of work in the offseason, just taking care of my body. I had a lot of fun with it. We'll get to that later in a second, guys, just exactly what that means. But he said, I had a lot of fun with it. It wasn't just about coming out in November, October, whatever it is, and scoring well, but having my body be equipped for this. I feel like I've been injured a lot in November, and that's held me back from playing up to this level all season or making All-Star or all of these accolades that everybody seems to care about. There was a follow-up question about what it means to have fun with it. And he says, traveling and working out and combining those things, building his routine into wherever he goes, taking his routine with him, taking his friends with him, and trying to build competition in wherever he could. He says, look, it was a really good and long off season. I got to do a lot. I got to eat healthy and come back with a fresh new mindset, especially with everything that people were saying about me. It was nice to put it all away for a couple of months.
That's
so that's
cool,
it
man.
from Jamal Murray, who agrees that he's in the best shape of his career. Kind of hard to argue with how he's played. Really cool to see him redeem himself in the clutch, especially with how that last game ended.
Well, the only thing you didn't mention there was the reception. I know you briefly mentioned it, but that just take us inside because I didn't get to see it. But when Michael Porter was given his accolades, how did it go?
It was a resounding standing ovation, full of love. You could hear it in the building. Mike didn't really get to watch much of it. He said after the game, and I could see from my seat, he really didn't get to. He was glued in on the huddle. But he did, as he took the court, he heard the cheers, he turned around, raised his hand. He actually blew a kiss. So I think Mike was really excited to be back here.
To you.
But Mike really wanted to win these games, you guys. He really wanted to win this game. I'll tell you really quick, I suppose you guys hit some of it on the pregame show, so I won't go back over it again. But just say in general terms, Mike had a great presser at the pregame. Just kind of talking about how he was ready for a change, how he's embraced Brooklyn, but he loved his time in Denver. It is hilarious to see Michael Porter Jr. as the adult in the room and the leader for this Brooklyn Nets organization, but that's really what he is now.
That's incredible, man. Well,
Nice.
Great stuff. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Nuggets got a win. Jamal Murray came up clutch. It was fun.
What a treat. See you next time, gentlemen.